doesn't matter whether you're Gen Z or Boomer material, everyone loves a fight scene, especially when it's hand-to-hand combat. Look, CGI spectacles are cool and stuff, but there's only so much Ant-Man action that one can take, right? Anyway, we've grown up around tons of classic films and TV shows that have showcased some of the most impressive fight scenes to date. So we're counting down my top 10 badass hand-to-hand combat fights across film and TV.
Come on then, you cunt!
If you're a fan of martial arts, then I'm sure you've heard of Scott Adkins from Undisputed 3. The dude's an absolute powerhouse, and his role as Mike Fallon in Accident Man is no different. The scene kicks off with a typical case of some punks trying to get some sugar out of a damsel in distress, so Mike decides to play the hero. Of course, these goons have never seen any of Scott's movies, so they charge at their opponent just like the She-Hulk creators charge at Marvel fans. What follows is a solid thrashing, and I kinda enjoyed seeing the kickboxing champ whack the living daylights out of his barmates. Also, the editing in this scene is simply first class, and not in a Jack Harlow kind of way. I mean, just take a look at how Mike lands some of his punches, bro. I could almost feel the impact simply by watching the video. Maybe he can pay Kanye West a visit later, eh? It's a different kind of vibe to watch the freaking Punisher beat up a bunch of no-good cops, and quite frankly, more power to him. Frank Castle finds himself in a tricky situation when he's confronted by some officers of the law in an elevator, so he goes Steve Rogers on them with minimal effort. Usually it's the cops who have the last laugh with vigilantes, but bro pulled an Uno reverse on them, just like India did with the UK. Either way, it's a power-packed sequence that delivers on all fronts, and I sure hope that we get to see more of the Skull baddie in future MCU media. Just please don't make him do a walk of shame like you did with Daredevil. I really can't take more of this Disney Plus humour. It's hard not to bring up martial arts and kung fu when we're talking about hand-to-hand combat. And of course, there's no better franchise to encapsulate that feeling other than the Ip Man series. Donnie Yen's a grade A badass when it comes to kung fu fighting, but let's not forget Colin Cho, who lasts a full 7 minutes against the overpowered protagonist in what is undoubtedly an epic fight scene. Yep, it's 7 minutes long, and you want to know the best part? There's no weird music or awkward pause. It's all 100% unfiltered action. The fighters pull out some of their best moves and even channel their inner Dwayne Johnson when they use some wrestling attacks on each other. Of course, Ip Man is the eventual winner, but make no mistake, both fighters won our hearts with their flawless display. There are only so many sequels you can tolerate when it comes to a successful franchise, but even so, Lethal Weapon 4 gave us a superb villain in Jet Li and an even better final battle. Mel Gibson and Danny Glover have to take on the Kung Fu spearhead in a fierce fight to the finish, and oh boy, they make every blow count. At first, the heroes try to double team their opponent, but that's only as effective as a gunshot to Black Adam's enormous chest. An intense fight follows and Jet Li pretty much dominates it all the way till Mel Gibson literally must smash his shoulder back in place while Danny stabs the villain with a metal rod. That still doesn't seem to be enough because Jackie Chan's successor still keeps going till he's shot dead with an AK-47. Well, technically that's cheating and it feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Ready? And fight!
Okay, so this one might leave a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, which is why it hasn't made it into my top 5. Cobra Kai is a show that a lot of people doubted at first, but has now gone on to become one of the most popular streaming properties on Netflix. Since the series is about martial arts, it's obvious that we're going to find some sick combat skills in the middle of all the teen drama. You could even call it Euphoria, but with realism and karate. Anyway, Miguel and Robbie face off in the final battle, and Miguel clearly dominates the man bun noob at first. Luckily, Robbie regains the advantage and is about to deliver a finisher move, but then he has a change of heart and offers his hand to his opponent. That might win him a Nobel Peace Prize from Greta Thunberg, but Miguel decides to play dirty and lands a sneak attack that eventually helps him win the encounter. How dare you! I mean, even his sensei wasn't rocking with that move, but hey, a win is a win, right?
Come on!
Then let me teach you a lesson.
We might not be very familiar with the concept of British spies that aren't named James Bond, but I've got to give a shout out to Kingsman, the Secret Service, which gave us Harry Hart. That man is the only reason I own an umbrella today, and if that statement confuses you, then let me point out this scene where he goes to town on a bunch of goons. Of course, there's a brief stare down, but then Harry says, "Are we just going to stand here all day, or are we going to fight?" That's all it takes for an extreme ambush, but it's Colin Firth and his trusted umbrella that kicks some serious butt in an impressively shaky action sequence. It feels very raw and adds a strong sense of urgency that enhances the impact of each blow. Also, just look at Taron Egerton. That dude was thinking he's better off playing Elton John in Birdman. Hannibal Lecter is a horror icon whom everyone recognises thanks to Anthony Hopkins' excellent performance in Silence of the Lambs. The film's success led to the creation of a prequel TV series with Mads Mikkelsen playing the titular cannibal, and well, he totally nails it. If you ever wondered why Hannibal was able to kill so many people, then you should know that he was actually a skilled fighter. His battle with Jack in Season 2 is a further testament to that fact. Both parties go hammer and tongs at each other in savage fashion, and we also get to see them flexing their strength with some lofty hits. Jack dominates the vicious duel at first, but then Hannibal simply fakes his death to regain the advantage and stabs his opponent in the neck. The scene ends on a suspenseful note, and it really adds to the overall vibe of the battle. I do feel bad for Lawrence Fishburne though. Dude's been in the Matrix and he still couldn't see it coming. There are some people that you simply don't mess with. And then there's John freaking Wick. He finds himself in a bit of a pickle when he takes on two Japanese assassins in a lengthy sequence, but it's worth the duration as we get to see some slick moves and even a bit of polite resistance. I mean, sure, Wick kicks one of the dudes in the nuts and calmly whips the other one with his belt, but he still leaves them alive after all the violent drama. Look, Keanu Reeves might be Hollywood's favourite nice guy, but he isn't known to spare anyone when he adopts his John Wick persona. So you could say that these two punks were feeling lucky. At least Dirty Harry can get some closure now. To be fair though, the assassins do happen to be fans of the legendary Hitman, so I guess that's what warranted their eventual survival. If you watch Raid 2, you'll know that Rama never has an easy fight. It's as if the director told him, "You're going to be fighting in a life or death situation throughout the entire movie." One such example is his super gory battle against the assassin in the kitchen. I mean, it's rough enough to be fighting an overpowered martial arts expert, but to spin tons of blood around food, man, that's just sickening. What's worse for Rama though, is that he's incapacitated in the middle of the fight when his legs are sliced by his attacker. But even then, he finds a way to overcome his difficulties and reign supreme. Like, how do you do that, bro? I can't even get out from my bed after a heavy Saturday night. As expected from the Raid franchise, the fight is extremely well choreographed and looks super realistic. The Cobra Kai kids need to take lessons from these guys instead. Now this one's a double whammy because it also serves as a flex scene. Donnie Yen goes up to a Japanese commander and wages himself in a battle, but the trick is that he must face off against 10 fighters. Want to know something even weirder though? He's the one who asks for it. Yep, Ip Man is the dude who demands for 10 Japanese opponents and he takes them down without even breaking a sweat. Just look at him go. He moves those fists so fast even the Flash wouldn't be able to keep up. The protagonist also goes a bit overboard with his moves as he causes some of his opponents to bleed, but he does stop before delivering that killer blow. Of course, his skills are enough to please the commander, so he asks him for his name, but he simply states that he's Ip Man. Well, at least that's what the translator says anyway. And there you go. Those are my top 10 hand-to-hand combat fights across films and TV. Like, share and subscribe if you want to show some love, and head over to the description for some exclusive links. Alright then, I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.